Hi, I'm Jennifer from the Wooster branch of the Wayne County Public Library, back with another bullet journal video. Today, let's take a closer look at trackers, different things you might want to track, and a handful of ways to set them up. Trackers are not part of the core bullet journal method, but they have become widely used because they offer something useful to many people. Whether you want to break down a project into smaller steps that you can check off, or you set a goal of doing something every day, you can use a tracker to create a visual indicator that helps you maintain your focus in pursuing those goals. What you also find in using a tracker is that it raises your self-awareness and helps you notice what works and what doesn't as you try to reach your goal. Now, as always, remember that trackers are completely optional. If you don't want to use them in your bullet journal, you don't have to use them. If you're interested in learning more about them, though, I'll go over the kinds of things you might track and then show you some sample trackers. Let's get started. The most popular trackers in personal bullet journal spreads cover goals for health and wellness as well as finance. Many people use a monthly or even a weekly habit tracker as a reminder to take care of daily tasks, such as taking medicine or vitamins, drinking enough water, working out, walking a set number of steps, meditating, and much more. Having that visual cue in your journal helps you first to remember to do the things you need to be healthy, and then to feel a sense of accomplishment when you see those things checked off. The contents of a habit tracker will vary from person to person, of course, but even in your own journal, you may choose to vary your habit tracker from month to month. And you can set it up in different ways. In the composition notebook I'm using for one journal, I'm just doing a simple grid with the days down the side and then the things I want to track across the top. So for each day, I can check off what habits I was able to complete during that day. Now, if you have a journal with graph paper or dot grid paper, you might find it fun to kind of draw out a little frame for your days of the month, like I've done here. Number them if you want to, and then just color in the boxes for each day if you've done something. There are many other ways you can do habit trackers, and you can find some really nice examples online, but these are two fairly simple versions. If you have troubles with your sleep cycles, you can set up a sleep tracker to record when you actually get your sleep and when you can't sleep. So for this, I've done another grid with the days of the month down the left and the hours across the top. Ideally, you would then be able to compare your sleep tracker to maybe your daily logs to see what would have affected your sleep, why you didn't get as much, why you were awake in the middle of the night, and then to understand how you might change your patterns. Now, related to your physical health, you can also use a mood tracker to take care of your mental health. This simply allows you to make note of your mood for the day or at different times of day, so that you can connect your daily activities and events to your mood and understand where you might need to make changes in order to find a better mental balance. This is a fairly simple mood tracker that I've set up, again, on the dot grid paper, where I have one line for each day of the month. I can write in what might have affected my mood for that day. And this bar going down the side gives me 2 blocks for each day where I can fill in the colors to indicate what my mood was. So maybe in the morning I color in one block, in the evening I color in another. It's always helpful to have a key at the bottom of your tracker just so you know what the colors stand for. And you can either write out what the mood is, or some people will just do little emojis to let them know, is it a happy day, a sad day, an upset day, whatever you choose to do. You can also find printables that you can download and print off and just insert into your journal. And these you can also do the same way with some coloring in and noting what each color stands for in terms of mood. Another tracker you can use for mental health is a gratitude tracker. This can be as simple as a line a day where you write down what you're thankful for, or you can make something more artistic that you can fill in throughout the month. For finances, you can set up several different kinds of useful trackers. A bills tracker helps remind you when to pay bills each month and also gives you a sort of archive that you can reassure yourself you haven't missed a payment. What I've found most useful is a budget tracker at the beginning of the year so that I know what spending money I might have on average and where my additional big expenses might happen. So I can list out what my average monthly expenses would be. I can also put in a chart that goes month by month to figure out when do I have insurance payments, when do I have appointments that I'll have to pay money for, whatever you can think of. And then a savings tracker can be a really simple way to remind you just to set aside a little bit of money every week and then to count the money as it piles up. Again, if you've got a dot grid or graph paper notebook, it's really easy to draw a grid and then indicate how much each square stands for. So in this case, each square is for $10 that's saved. And at the end of each line, I have the total. You can come up with some other ways of doing this. Again, you can find printables that you could paste into your notebook, whatever works for you. In the next video, I'll talk about collections, what a collection is, what kinds of collections are popular, and why you might consider using them. Like trackers, collections are completely optional, but you might find some ideas that sound really useful to you. If you have questions, drop them on the library's Facebook page and I'll try to answer them. Don't forget, the Bullet Journalists group meets the third Saturday of every month on Zoom, and we talk about what we're learning from using our journals, as well as sharing ideas and experiments. If you're interested in joining us, you can register for the Zoom meeting through a link on Facebook or through the calendar of events on the library website at wcpl.info. And until the next video, happy journaling!